Good morning, dear boys. Today we are getting into theory of numbers. Seat of wisdom, pray for us. First, let's get on to a simple quadratic equation which I've already come across in 10th standard. The general form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. As you can see, in the general quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. It's a quadratic equation in x, so therefore you must have two roots. And these two roots will exist. Just giving you a simple example, 5x squared plus 6x minus 7 equal to 0. So here a value is equal to 5, b value is equal to 6, and c value is equal to minus 7. Now that you're given an equation and you're asked to find its roots, we're just taking you back to 10th standard. You're given a quadratic equation in x. And you're asked to find its roots. Okay? To find its roots, there were two methods that we were trying to adopt. One was the factorization method. Okay? So you know how to factorize it. You must make sure that you write the middle term as sum of two terms, such that the product of those two terms is equal to the product of the extremes. That's factorization method. Then there is another way of getting the two roots of a quadratic equation, which you call it as a formula method. And the formula, you know that x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And please remember, the whole thing has to be divided by 2a. Now, using these methods, you will be able to get the roots of the quadratic equation. Now, we'll call one root as alpha and the other root as beta. Assume alpha is equal to minus b plus root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. And then what should be beta, therefore? Minus b minus root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. So just trying to tell you that the two roots of the given quadratic equation, let them be alpha and beta. Now we shall try to get the sum of the two roots. So if you sum the two roots, you'll get minus b by a. Just now I told you what alpha stands for. Alpha stands for minus b plus root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a, and beta stands for minus b minus root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. So if you add up the two roots, you will get minus b by a. And when you find the product of the two roots, you get it as c by a. So far what have we discussed? A quadratic equation in x. So therefore you must have two roots. There are two methods of getting it, factorization as well as the formula method. Let's assume that the two roots are alpha and beta. So what would be the sum of the two roots? The formula is minus b by a. You can also remember it this way, minus, okay, the coefficient of x by the coefficient of x squared. And the product of the roots, that is alpha into beta, the product of the two roots will be equal to the constant term divided by the coefficient of x squared. That's going to be the first part. Now coming over to the converse part of it, alright? What do I mean by that? Remember, here the equation is given and you are trying to find the roots. And after finding out the roots, you went on to sum of the roots and product of the roots. Okay? Now, we are trying to get, right now, the converse means that is the roots are given and you're supposed to find out what? The equation. Clear? So from the equation, you got the roots. How do you get the roots? By these two methods. Okay? Now, you're going to be given the roots and you're asked to find out the equation. Please try to figure out the difference. Here, equation is given, and you are asked to find out the roots. How will you find out the roots? Factorization method and formula method. Okay? This is an extra feature. Okay? Now, the roots are given and you're going to find out the equation. So how do you find out the equation when the roots are given? Let's say the roots are alpha and beta, and how to get the equation. The equation, how do you get it? X squared minus sum of the roots into x plus the product of the roots is equal to 0. Now I suppose you'll understand why we try to find out the sum and the product. Okay? So x squared minus sum of the roots into x plus the product of the roots is equal to 0 will give you the equation. I repeat again, equation was given, you knew how to find out the roots. Two methods. Next, when the roots are given, how do you get the equation? So the formula is x squared minus sum of the roots into x plus the product of the roots is equal to 0. Alright? This is how you get the equation. So let's try to wind up. If you're given two roots, let's say they're going to be 2 and 3. If you're given two roots and if it's going to be 2 and 3, how do you get the equation? Simple. X squared minus sum of those two roots, that is 2 plus 3, 5x plus the product of the roots. What is 2 into 3? 6 is equal to 0. That's it. That's the way you get the equation. Please remember, when the equation is given, you know how to get the two roots. If the roots are given, you know how to get the equation. If the roots are given, put the sum of the roots, product of the roots. Fit it into this equation, you get the concerned equation. Thank you. Now let's continue. Now supposing if alpha is a root, then x minus alpha is a factor of the given polynomial. If alpha is a root, then x minus alpha is a factor. Just giving you an example. If 2 is a root of this polynomial, if 2 is the root of this polynomial, okay, just to let's get deep into it. This, it's a cubic equation. Cubic equation means you must have totally 3 roots. Alright, so one of the roots I'm giving you, it's going to be 2, and 2 is the root of this. If you want to cross check it, 2 cube is 8, 2 squared is 4, 4 into 4 16. So here you have 8, 8 minus 16 minus 8, and then here you have minus 4 into 2 minus 8. So therefore minus 8 minus 8 minus 16, minus 16 plus 16 equal to 0. So obviously 2 is going to be a root of this. Alright, I repeat, 2 is given to be as a root of this polynomial equation or cubic equation. Then x minus 2 is a factor of the polynomial equation. Okay, this you must try to understand. If a root is given, let's say 2 here, then x minus 2 is a factor. Let's go deep into it. Supposing I'm giving you, let's say, minus 2 is a root. If I say minus 2 is a root, then here x plus 2 is a factor. Remember that. If minus 2 is a root of the polynomial, then x plus 2 is a factor of the polynomial. If you have your 3, assume it. If you have it, 3 is a root of the polynomial, then x minus 3 is a factor of the polynomial. If you have here as minus 3 is a root of the given polynomial, if it's given to you like that, then x plus 3 is a factor of the polynomial. Let's remember these things. Now let's get on to a cubic equation. Okay, just giving you a general form of a cubic equation. Ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d is equal to 0. So as you know, this is a cubic equation, means then you must have 3 roots, and let the roots be alpha, beta and gamma. Right now we are talking about sum of the 3 roots. Sum of the 3 roots, we are giving this notation, summation of alpha. This is going to be an extended form. Summation of alpha means what? Summing up the roots. Okay? And what are the roots? Alpha, beta and gamma. So therefore alpha plus beta plus gamma. So you can write like this, you can even write like this. The sum of the roots is given as minus b by a. Just similar to what you did in quadratic equation x. Okay? There it was minus b by a. Here also it's going to be minus b by a. Minus of the coefficient of x squared in this case divided by the coefficient of x cubed. Alright? The next one is again the summation of, okay, summation of product of roots in pairs. Summation of the product of the roots in pairs. Okay, summation, okay, plus summation of the product of the roots in pairs. So what are the roots here? Alpha, beta, gamma. So what is the product of the roots in pairs? What should it be? Alpha into beta, alpha into gamma, beta into gamma. Alright, the summation of the product of the roots in pairs, okay, in twos. So alpha, beta, alpha, gamma, beta, gamma. So when you do that, you get it as C by A. And what is that going to be? The coefficient of x divided by the coefficient of x cubed. That is going to be the second part. That is summation of the product of the roots in pairs. And lastly, it's going to be the product of the roots. That's going to be alpha into beta into gamma, which is equal to minus d by a, minus of the coefficient, the constant term divided by the coefficient of x cubed. That's going to be minus d by a. Alright. Now as you can see, some trend is happening here. This is going to be minus, then you have plus, then you have minus. Just for your remembrance, you can keep it that way. Minus, then you have plus, then you have minus. Now conversely, alright, please remember here, cubic equation is given and the three roots are alpha, beta and gamma. You're trying to get the sum of the roots, product of the roots in pairs. Okay, sum of the product of the roots in pairs as well as product of the roots. Now the converse, if three roots are given, your equation is given, you come to the roots. Okay, here three roots are given, let's say alpha, beta and gamma. If the three roots are given, whatever it may be, alpha, beta, gamma, in the place of alpha, beta, gamma, let's say they're giving you 2, 3, 4, okay, whatever it may be. They're giving you the roots, the three roots, and how to get the cubic equation. How will you get the cubic equation? It's going to be x cubed minus summation of alpha, that is the sum of the roots. Okay, the sum of the roots. What do you mean by summation of alpha? It's going to be alpha plus beta plus gamma. Okay, summation of the roots into x squared. Okay, you have plus, then minus. Okay, then again you have plus. Summation of the roots in pairs. Okay, the sum of the roots, okay, expressed as pairs. Okay, product of the roots in pairs. Okay, the sum of the product of the roots in pairs. Sum of the product of the roots in pairs. That is going to be over here. Sum of the product of the roots in pairs into x. Then you have minus of the product of the three roots equal to 0. As you can see here, plus, minus, minus. Summation of the roots, summation of the product of the roots in pairs, and then you have product of the roots. Plus, minus, equal to 0. This is what you're going to get it as the cubic equation. So I repeat, if the three roots are given to you, how do you get the cubic equation? This is how you get the cubic equation. I'm just giving you one example. If the three roots are 2, 3 and 4, if you're given three roots are 2, 3 and 4, then how will you get the cubic equation? X cubed as it is minus summation of the roots. What is the summation of the roots? 2 plus 3 plus 4 into x squared plus summation of the product of the roots in pairs. That means what? 2 into 3, 2 into 4, and then 3 into 4. All that you have to add up. 2 into 3, 3 into 4, and then 2 into 4. Whatever it may, whatever order you're going to take. Clear? 2 into 3, 2 into 4, 3 into 4. Or 2 into 3, 3 into 4, 2 into 4. You have to add up sum of the product of the roots in pairs into x minus product of the three roots, 2 into 3 into 4, which you're getting it as x cubed minus 479, 9x squared. This is going to be 6, this is going to be 12, 12 plus 6, 18, 18 plus 8, 26, 26x minus 24 is equal to 0. This is going to be the cubic equation that you have formed when the three roots are given. Alright, so if the three roots are given, how do you get the cubic equation? This is the formula. Alright? If 3 roots are given, how do you get the cubic equation? Use this formula. Roots are given, how do you get the cubic equation? This is the formula. Now, this is equivalent to, there's also another way of doing it. Alright? Based on the first concept that we discussed, based on the factor theorem concept. Clear? If 2 is a root, then x minus 2 is a factor. You're using the same rule out here. Already you're given the 3 roots as what? 2, 3 and 4. So what will be the factors then? X minus 2 is one factor, x minus 3 is another factor, and x minus 4 is another factor. So if you multiply all these 3 factors equal to 0, and if you solve this one, this and this will be just the same. Both will be the same. Okay? If you're going to multiply these 3 factors and see, you'll find that this and this cubic equation will be the same. This is another way of also doing it. We shall now get on to a polynomial equation of degree 4. Polynomial equation of degree 4, which you can also call it as a biquadratic equation. Alright? So you have a polynomial equation of degree 4, ax power 4 plus bx cubed plus cx squared plus dx plus e equal to 0. Right? So this is a polynomial equation of degree 4. Power is 4, so you must get totally 4 roots, and let's call the 4 roots as alpha, beta, gamma and delta. Alright? Now the procedure is just the same. Instead of cubic equation, you have right now a biquadratic equation where the power is 4. So now the first step is sum of the roots. So sum of the roots, alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta, which your shortened form of writing it is summation of alpha. Alright? Which means what? Summation of the roots. Okay? And that's going to be equal to minus b by a. Same concept, same way you're doing it. Minus of the coefficient of x cubed divided by the coefficient of x power 4. Alright? These things will remain the same. Okay? Now, next one is summation of the product of the roots in pairs. Summation of product of the roots in pairs. Now, if you see here, you have alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Summation of the product of the roots in pairs. Okay? So first let's get the product of the roots in pairs. What are they going to be? Product of the roots in pairs. So alpha into beta is one thing. Alpha into gamma. Alpha into delta. Okay? That's not over. Beta into gamma. Beta into delta. And then you have gamma into delta. So you have exhausted all the possibilities. So summation of the product of the roots in pairs. Okay? There's a shortened way of writing. What are they going to be? Alpha into beta, alpha into gamma, alpha into delta, beta into gamma, beta into delta, and finally gamma into delta. This is equal to the coefficient of x squared divided by the coefficient of x cubed. Remember, here it's minus and here it is going to be plus. Okay, so next one has to be minus. All right. Now, next one is going to be the summation of the product of roots in threes. Okay, this is going to be summation of product of the roots in pairs. Okay, this is going to be summation of product of the roots product. Summation of product of the roots in threes. Okay, your singles, your doubles, your triples. That's it. Clear? So when you do that, it's going to be alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, I repeat, summation of product of the roots in threes. Alpha, beta, gamma. Then you're going to have alpha, beta, delta. Alpha, beta, gamma, alpha, beta, delta. That is over. You can also think of what? Beta, gamma, delta. Alright. And the last one is alpha, gamma, delta. So totally you'll have 4. You've exhausted all the 4. Nothing else. Anything else you're going to talk about is only going to be a repetition of this. Okay. Now alpha, beta, gamma is there. Don't tell me there is another root like beta, gamma, alpha. It's the same thing. Whether alpha, beta, gamma or beta, gamma, alpha is all going to be the same thing. So this is the only 4 possibilities that you'll have. Alright. I repeat again. Summation of the product of the roots in threes. And that's going to be minus the coefficient of x divided by the coefficient of x power 4. Alright. Minus plus minus. And the last one is going to be the product of the roots. Okay? That's going to be alpha, beta, gamma, delta. That's going to be equal to the constant term divided by the coefficient of x power 4. That's going to be the product. Conversely, okay, if the 4 roots are given, to you as alpha, beta, gamma, delta, then how do we get the polynomial equation? The procedure is just the same like what you did before. X power 4, instead of x cube you wrote x power 4. Instead of x squared you write now x power 4. Clear? Minus, okay, summation of roots, okay, in singles of course, summation of the roots into x cube minus, then you have plus, summation of the product of the roots in pairs into x squared minus summation of the product of the roots in threes into x, okay, plus the product of the roots is equal to 0. Please remember, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus.
Daddy.